The following podcast is brought to you by the Ebb Tide Treatment Center. Many people wrestle with addiction. You don't have to. Reach out to the Ebb Tide Treatment Center, where they wish to empower each individual encountered with the support, hope, and tools required for long-term sobriety, priding themselves on providing the best possible treatment experience for you and your loved ones based on unique needs. They're committed to breaking the stigma that plagues those suffering with addiction and their families by educating and bringing awareness to the community. The Ebb Tide Treatment Center provides individual and group therapy, multiple recovery pathways for support, evidence-based clinical support, integrated aftercare social reintegration, personalized treatment planning, program addressing whole life health, and Vivitrol program, all available. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, reach out to them at ebbtidetc.com or call 844-430-4357. Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
That's JAKPrince.com.
That's right, and that voice that you heard is none other than Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. And, of course, joined, as always, by AIW owner John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy. I'm your moderator of sorts. And on this week's episode...
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, didn't you hear? Christmas is back. This is what everybody... Donald Trump
never
said,
left.
Merry Christmas. I know. I know.
Too much. You guys are making this podcast
too political.
So on this holiday extravaganza of sorts, with the year winding down as we come to our last show this Friday, December 29th. Don't forget, if you haven't gotten tickets yet, get them. Come
Masters of the Universe.
Come see Psycho
Rulers
Sid.
of the world.
Of the universe.
What?
Rulers of the world.
Rulers of the world?
Yeah, Jesus,
Oh,
Dan.
my bad.
Not trying to get sued.
I'm gonna fucking. I hope Sid rules your world on fucking Friday.
Whoa.
Oh my.
No.
So anyway, it's kind of a year in review is what we decided to do with this episode.
It's Monday. It's Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be listening to this podcast probably right now.
Hopefully you're listening to us while opening presents. You got that.
Driving to a family member's for a nice holiday meal.
Yeah. Got that nice new BB gun you always wanted.
Red Ryder.
That's right, buddy.
I just want to say, fucking Christmas Story, most overrated Christmas movie of all time.
I don't get it. I
Sucks.
don't get Christmas
I
Story.
like it, but yeah, I don't think that it's...
Fuck that. I'm more of a Four Christmases guy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Is that Vince Vaughn, right?
Fred Claus.
Fred Claus.
Like Fred Claus? Yeah, that's good too. Wasn't Vince Vaughn Four Christmases?
And Fred Claus.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still all about Elf.
Tim
man.
McGraw was in Four Christmases too.
Elf?
Elf is a good one. I like Elf.
You look like Elf.
What? I do?
I got an Elf onesie. No joke.
That's too much information, Steve.
Just saying. Like pajamas.
Yeah, I know. We don't go over wardrobe here.
Got bought for me as a gift.
All right.
Anyway.
Let's move on.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody. From us to you. So, this year we saw, obviously, as you all know, and if you are an avid AIW fan, or maybe you're just a casual fan, you probably know that this was a year transition for us. I mean, maybe that's probably where we start, if anything, because with the loss of our good friend Chandler Biggins, we had transitions to make on the business side of things, but for John and I, it was kind of a transition with this podcast even, because we didn't have the three-man crew here.
Yeah, so I guess that's going to be probably what we're going to cover is just like a year, just some review here.
Yeah.
All right. You're the moderator.
Yeah.
It's your world. You're sorting through it.
We're reviewing things.
All right. Yeah, I think the podcast has probably been among probably the more stressful of the transitions, because it's like I'm juggling all the other stuff on top of real life stuff and a job, and just trying to maintain some form of sanity within the real civilian world. And then like this podcast is like really the only thing outside of an actual show that has like a deadline. Like it needs to get done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it needs to be out every Monday, because if it's not out on Monday, like it's all about consistency. And, if it's not out on Monday, and I put it off until Tuesday, even though a lot of people probably don't even listen to it like right at first, you know what I mean? It's still like all about just having that, like, for those people that do expect it every Monday, like you have to have it there. It's like, what if, you went to go watch, a football game and they're like, nah, I don't know. It's going to be on tomorrow now,
Right.
So that's provided quite a bit of stress to, try to juggle all these things and then have like, fuck, you know what I mean? Here I am at like Sunday night at like 10 p.m. and I'm like, I gotta get the podcast out, so it's like not only getting it recorded, but getting it produced and edited and, uploaded. And, it's been a transition just even doing it without Chandler Biggins.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's definitely been like a missing kind of piece to it that we haven't really totally found as of yet. We've done a lot of rotating things just to kind of do the best that we can with it. And,
some of our favorite moments were just riling up Chandler.
Right. I just feel like
quotables were great.
I feel like there was like a certain just different tone to every podcast and feel to them all.
Yeah.
So that's been difficult to kind of like keep it going, knowing that's never going to return, and like no matter who is in the rotating seat, like it's never going to be that kind of like rapport.
Yeah. That's well stated. I mean, the rapport was. It was fun. I mean, it was a blast.
And it's like,
it's just different. You're right.
That was like, my best friend for like, over a decade. So it's like we could bust each other's balls and like, you know what I mean? Like we knew how far to push each other, and like we knew the little inside secrets, you know what I mean? Like the werewolf thing and stuff like that, like how to like, really kind of create some magical audio, so to speak, to where it's like, now it's like, how much do I really know about Dr. Dan to like bust his balls? And is Dr. Dan going to bust my balls back equally? Probably not.
And is it going to be okay to bust his balls?
So they get a little timid sometimes. I don't know quite where that line is, like he was saying with Biggins. It's kind of, it's a hard thing to gauge, especially like I've only known Thorne on a personal level probably about a year and a half, known him for about 3 now, but it's...
long enough to call him Pete.
Yeah. Pete. Hot Pete.
Long enough to call him Pete. That'll be an ongoing one. I mean, I feel like, honestly, like when the Duke is on, that's probably the closest it is.
Yeah.
But fucking, the people hate the Duke. So like those shows,
our ratings don't do good.
Those shows are like, they are killers in the downloads. Even though I feel like they are some of the best audio that we've created, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the Q&A episode was great.
People don't want to listen because it's the Duke, and
he's a very polarizing figure.
I think that if they here's the thing, people. You need to listen to that Q&A episode because I think that it will give you a different perception of the Duke.
I think the Duke is so vocal online about his politics and you know his things that just makes people not want to get to know who Duke the actual person is. They want to associate him with whatever his political views are online and the things that he says. So they're just like, oh, fuck that guy. I'm not going to, dedicate 30 minutes of my day to him. But I do feel that it is some of the best audio that, we've had, during this, transitional period of, trying to keep the vibe and the fun of the podcast going while also, treating it for what it is for it, which is, discussing the business and the shows and stuff and giving the insight. I just, those Duke episodes, man, it's like, you talk about trickle down economics or whatever, that's trickle down bad downloads. Cause it's like when the Duke is on, it's like, boom, that tanks. And then like the next 2 weeks are like, tank equally,
Maybe we just don't put him in the description, and then it's just a surprise that he's on there.
I think, you just don't mention his name in the beginning when he starts talking. You're like, oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to say like, fucking, Hornswoggle is back every week, and that's really the Duke.
Exactly. We'll just do that. Business side, definitely, obviously, like we said, transitioned. I feel like we're busier. As like somehow we evolved into more of businessmen this year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we're still not quite there, but we're getting there.
I don't think I'll ever actually be a businessman, like ever. Like I just there's only so much you could do with just trying to learn as this evolves or whatever. But I think I was forced to become more of a businessman because, forever the duties were always split between at least myself and Chandler. There's, throughout the years, there have been other parties that have come in and out, but it's always been constantly me and myself and Chandler. So, the thing that was difficult is like what I did, he didn't do. And, what he did, I didn't do. And there was like, it was like, hey, is this done? Yeah. Oh, is this done? Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? So that was kind of like the biggest part of like, because I was always scared of being around the money. I was terrified of the money because I fucking,
made it a little real.
Well, not only did it make it real, it was like, I'm staring in the face of like real life issues too, you know what I mean, of like rent and bills and like just the reality of like fuck, like this is how much is my personal bank account, like if this goes bad I can't cover this part of the business, you know what I mean. It's very like stressful endeavor, and on top of the fact that I didn't want to have access to like those amounts of money for like moments of stupidity, like I put a fail safe system in place to where I could never get to it, no matter what kind of predicament I found myself in. So that has been an eye-opening experience as far as, okay, now I have to, not only do I have to face those realities of the money, I have to try to manage that money and, try to make sure that money is always going to be there and make sure these shows are profitable. Because before myself and Chandler, we never, this sounds dumb, but if you've listened to this podcast from day one, we never got in this to be businessmen,
Right.
We got in this to promote wrestling shows, and it's just like, we're going to ride it till it dies pretty much. And, then we're going to figure it out after the fact. Well, like now I know that I have to run these shows more like a business and run these shows to be more profitable, which kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it,
Yeah, I will say, speaking of fun and money, the one wise business decision that you did do to keep yourself in check is Pedro being the money man on show day.
Pedro's a lifesaver.
Here is the after party envelope. This is all you can spend.
Yeah.
Like a little allowance for you.
Yeah. Fiscally responsible.
That's right.
Like fucking, the AIW's kind of set up like an organized crime situation now. Like Pedro's my what is that, like, consigliere? Like he's like my right hand man. And like everything goes through Pedro before it comes through me. And Pedro just slides me a little envelope and he says, "This is all you can have for the after party," because I do have to be responsible for all the show money now,
right,
and be accounted for it. But Pedro says, "Here, this is all that you are allowed to have," and that is a system that was his idea that I would have never ever in a million years said I'm gonna give myself this money for an after party. But it is surprisingly very successful move on his part.
Yeah, it was a good call. I mean, it doesn't work so well when you walk into the bar and say, "Give me $100 of shots."
Well, I mean, I got an allowance.
It was in the budget.
I got an allowance.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, Pedro, I guess, I don't think we've discussed how much of a saving grace Pedro has been in this whole process.
Yeah.
Because, Pedro was basically out. You know what I mean? He had retired, other than, coming back here and there for like surprise ring announcing appearances. He had retired. He had gotten himself a really good real life job, and he had a kid with his wife, and he was basically he had found his exit plan from wrestling. He was out, and the second that Chandler got sick, I was just talking to him and explaining it to him, because Pedro was always very. He was always like the third guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the circle. He was never around, like he's never around socially a lot, you know what I mean? But he was always in the mix of everything that was going on, especially at the shows, and like what we wanted and how we wanted it. And he just knows how we do things, and Pedro was a guy that Chandler personally took out of the crowd from Cleveland All Pro and was like, "Hey, come help out." You know what I mean? Like, because he knew it was Pedro's dream to be in wrestling, and he found his way in. So he was doing this for Pedro. So Pedro's been involved. He came on board virtually as soon as Chandler Biggins came on board, just based on their friendship. So just by talking to Pedro about, Chandler is sick and this is what's happening, and he was like, "Hey, I know you're not going to trust anybody with touching the money. Please let me come and help." And at first it was going to be like, it was just going to be like a, until Chandler got better sort of thing. And then it turned into, I'm here for as long as you need, which has been a total lifesaver, and I've gotten more of like, I give him some documents and I say, here's the payroll and here's this and here's that. And, he handles all, everything from there and runs the door, and he works like a madman on these show days. And now if anything happens to Pedro, then that's probably going to be that is probably going to be really the death of AIW, because I just don't know how we recover from that as well.
Well, as we talk about transition and different things that occurred happen, a new thing that came about in 2017, a little later on, is the introduction of Powerbomb TV.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of like a recent kind of development in the last 2 or 3 months. But this is where the industry is going. However, it's not. I don't think it's ever gonna 100% go that route. Powerbomb TV had been pursuing us since before they even launched. I've been talking to Adam Lash and Jerry about coming on board, and it was just it was something that I was very hesitant to, just because people. I say that I've said this numerous times on this podcast, but like when Smart Mark Video sends us our breakdown every month, we always sell more DVDs than any digital anything or streaming anything. So I do understand that there is a vast contingent of people that do want to view wrestling that way, but I view technology in a very strange way, and that is, if the old lady that I share an office with at work understands streaming, then I'll get on board. But if she is totally oblivious to it, I'm going to be a little hesitant to just go all in on that, because like, the world isn't full of, teenagers and 20 somethings, like the world is full of all ages.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that the 45-year-old lady in my office is going to be wanting to watch wrestling at all, but
45, you just made her sound like she was 70.
Well, I mean, that's older, middle-aged. But if you're the Duke's age or older, that's what I'm
That's what you're calling old?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That's what I'm calling old. But that's, it's like if they can understand the concept, then I'm like, yeah. But like if you say like, hey, you can buy this movie and watch it on your phone, and they go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I just want to go to Redbox. Like, you're going to run into that a lot more than you think, like, but I feel like a lot of wrestling people and promoters and stuff like that, they get so wrapped up in like, what's the cool now thing, that they fail to realize that like the way things have been running forever is a lot more like universally accepted form of how to, do things.
Right.
So I just went off on a little tangent there, but that's really that's honestly how I gauge things. It's like, is this woman at my work going to understand this concept, or is it going to be totally like, doing like calculus? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, it's fair.
Does that make sense? Is that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Dan, you're a doctor.
Yeah.
I am.
What do you think?
That makes a lot of sense, because at the end of the day, no matter what, because that's only a chunk of the people you're marketing to, the 20-somethings and the teenagers.
Like, if you're on like, say, it's Christmas Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, hey, Uncle Jim, you can download my last wrestling match. Is he gonna even know what the fuck that means?
Probably not, but
exactly.
But I got this DVD here. Want to watch it? Yeah, put it in.
Right. Everybody knows what a DVD is.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
But like, I'll say that to the end of time, like that we always sell more DVDs. So I view Powerbomb TV as a way to kind of diversify how we're offering things, but like not go all in on it, and it's like, and that's why a lot of it is also older titles, because it's like, that's kind of like, you could see different eras of AIW and see the growth in the
how much it really changed,
where we came from and where we've gone, and like it gives you a good vast kind of like, a brief overview of the entire duration of this company that's been around for almost 15 years at this point.
Wow! I know I want that girl so bad.
Hey there, everybody. It's Alex Worldwide Keller here to tell you all about at Thrift Store Jobber, and he's got a doozy for you this week. That's right, more than just a pretty face, doesn't look bad in a bikini. It's Tori Wilson with a lovely shirt from the late 90s, size medium. You got the body, you got the face. Everyone knows you're the coolest guy at the place when you're rocking this dealio. So check him out on Instagram, Etsy, eBay, etc. and use promo code WORLDWIDE to get 10% off your order.
Far below. My knees won't work and the words won't flow. I've just got to make her see. I've just got to find a way to make her want me. I know I want that girl so bad. I lie awake at night and think of all the things that I would do.
As we talk about transition and keep going with that theme, 2017 also saw the transition of us leaving one destination for an after party and heading into another. So the Mahals or Mayhals, I still don't think we ever figured out how to say it.
I call them halls.
I call it Mahals.
But the Mahals era of after parties ended, and then we went into the fun house. But we had a good run.
Mahals, I think, never fully
Embraced us.
Or wanted us there. Like, I think Lauren, the girl that set these up, and she comes to AIW, she was, booking events for Mahal's and, running a lot of things at Mahal's. She understood the value of it, and she wanted that value for the bar. I don't think the rest of the bar
was prepared.
Gave a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they were prepared. They just didn't care.
They didn't care. They wanted to serve their people, and they didn't want all these fucking wrestling people coming in there and packing their bar. Which is kind of mind blowing because it's like they're going to be making more money, and making different tips, but. I just don't think they gave a fuck. I know that I could sit there for 35 minutes without getting a drink. I remember after J-Lit, I'm standing there with literally two $100 bills in my hand, just waving them around, and like I got absolutely no service. But that's just it is what it is. I think Funhouse is a lot better suited for the AIW fan culture,
right?
It's closer, and it's they actually I think want us there, and want to they appreciate the business. They're not necessarily prepared every time we're in there. However, that doesn't mean that they don't want us there. I think they're more of like being overwhelmed than being like, fuck these wrestling people, we're serving our regulars.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't predict. They just predict incorrectly, and we have more people than they thought.
It's not a bad problem to have.
No, really not.
And I think it's ultimately, up to the fans, and I know Mahal's had a lot more room to spread out and stuff, and I think that additional room created room for additional mischievous behavior from the likes of people like Hornswoggle. And there's a lot more trouble to be found at Mahal's than at the Funhouse.
Yeah, people not trying to take bowling balls and put them in toilets.
Go bowling at 2 in the morning.
Try bowling at 2 in the morning when they're closing. That can't happen at the Funhouse.
He's really hard to pick up.
The Mahal's is where Kenny Wang became a superstar, though.
Yeah. And New Kenny.
New Kenny.
For a short time.
That's right. So there was that at Mahal's, but you're right. I mean, that was a lot more mischief because...
And I think, Funhouse has some games and some things to do. It's like idle hands, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more room for mischief at Mahal's. However, there's a lot more, ways to keep the wrestlers and the fans entertained
at
Funhouse before things get out of control.
Keeping them out of trouble.
Yeah.
More activities.
Yeah. More room.
Less room for activities. More activities.
Right. Exactly. So, I think the last straw at Mahal's was the night of the birth of New Kenny, drinking the flower water and eating the fucking ginger roots, and I think at that point they about had enough of us. Plus, Lauren stopped working there too, so we didn't really have anybody back in our case.
The relationship was a little fractured at that point.
Nobody supporting us at that point.
I didn't even show up to try to get whatever the last after party money was because I just knew it wasn't happening.
Well, you also tried to take somebody's bike after that one.
Allegedly, man.
Allegedly. And allegedly crossbody a tree.
That tree's still there. So
of course it's there.
That was before I was hitting the gym, brother. Yeah, let's get to the heart of the matter, man.
Let's get to the heart of the matter.
The payoffs at Funhouse are equal. That's the heart of the matter. So,
exactly, right?
Win-win.
It's been an overwhelming success. I've yet to attend a Funhouse after party, but from
you fucking shouldn't.
I have been well behaved.
Fucking degenerate drinker.
Been well behaved.
Oh, not at hell on earth. You're dabbling in the fucking beer tub.
3 beers. I was fine.
3 beers sometimes is enough for you, brother. 2 beer limit.
And I didn't get into the Tito's.
What's Frankie Flynn's rule?
2 drink minimum. It used to be 2 drink minimum.
Yeah, and you saw what fucking happened to him. He wound up with hair extensions when he surpassed that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's not good.
Cole Cabana's favorite thing in professional wrestling for a day is Frankie Flynn's hair extensions.
Dude, you want to talk about a year in review? Let's just go to the
just get Frankie Flynn.
Need Frankie Flynn's year in review.
Frankie Flynn suffers an injury and he lost his mind. Was that over the spring, summer?
No, the injury was at the end of fall into winter in 2016. He was
Okay,
hurt.
so going into 2017 is when he really lost his
Dark
fucking
Spiral.
mind.
He wrote a play.
Yeah.
Got hair extensions.
Dude, I remember we went to a ring rental, and I got there a little later than you guys, and Frankie Flynn is fucking hammered, and I go, what is going on? And he just like shows me this like. It was like a Windex bottle that he had filled with fucking alcohol that he found at his grandma's house.
He smelled like Blue Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, and I think he just mixed the alcohol in the fucking Windex and was drinking that. And he had hair extensions. And I go, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, this is... You want to talk about a year in review. Frankie Flynn hair extension era is the weirdest shit that happened in the entire year. And he developed such a bad alcohol problem because he was so depressed because he couldn't wrestle. He just found himself in you want to talk about a dark spiral, man.
And then he found his way out, though. Now he's got the production going.
Yeah, he found his way out because he was cleared to finally wrestle again, and he felt alive.
What a year.
Took PB Smooth down. That's how mad he was.
Yeah.
And you want to know what fucking got him back in the game? Getting rid of those fucking atrocious hair extensions that he had.
The heart of the matter is not get hair extensions.
And one opportunity to be a lucha wrestler at a birthday party.
Yeah, like fucking I've just been brought up a photograph of fucking Frankie Flynn's hair extensions, man. This is from I believe the Teddy Hart fucking no, this isn't Teddy Hart. This is later than Teddy Hart, but this is at Cal Corral's. This photo I've been shown, it looks like Frankie Flynn is wearing a black karate gi, and he has hair extensions in. It's on my personal Instagram, John Thorne AIW. Get my follower game up. It was posted on November 23rd, 2016.
So right around then.
So he rocked those extensions for months though.
Yeah,
well into 2017.
Into the new year.
Yeah, into the new year.
And then the one day he came into training with no hair extensions and a clean-shaven Frankie Flynn. It was like a whole new person had been born again.
It's crazy. Like the Frankie Flynn that debuted in AIW.
Yeah.
Born again.
Except he was a brunette instead of a redhead.
Strange guy, man. Strange bird.
Well, since you brought up the school and seminars, one thing, we did switch schools in 2017.
Yeah.
Now it's a wonderful old school Iron Gym.
Well, that was more of a old school Iron Gym kind of absorbed and purchased the Cal Corral's gym, which, that's where we were training at the time.
But there was a refocus into the AIW Academy, I would say, in 2017.
It's just in the quest to become more fiscally responsible, as I like to say. That meant putting a lot more focus on the school, and the school isn't necessarily a profitable endeavor, but it becomes profitable once these guys start proving that they deserve spots on the shows. You know what I mean? And then in turn, that's what makes the school profitable. And then it's been a long kind of process to get it to that point, but now we've put like you said, a refocus on it, and we started investing in big time seminars to come in throughout the year. Because with Johnny Gargano getting signed and having to move, and Candice LeRae moving with him, a lot of the tasks of the school have fallen on the longer tenured students and the more advanced students to kind of teach from a curriculum that Johnny Gargano, put together. But that, as good as that is, and, I go there and other kind of more advanced wrestlers in the area go and help out. But as good as that is, it's not going to be as great as when Johnny Gargano was there every single day. So we've been investing a lot in bringing in, seminar guys, and, I made a connection with WWE about bringing in certain people to help train and do seminars, and I think it's been very beneficial for the people that have done them. Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and then we also had Jimmy Jacobs come in, and Ethan Page did a seminar, and Glacier did a seminar. he still taught. I still don't agree with how he taught those running the ropes, but
hey, if Regal sees you run the ropes like that, he's going to know you trained at the power plant. Yeah. That's what Glacier kept saying. And I'm like, didn't the power plant close in 1999?
Yeah, I don't think you want him to know you trained at the power plant. But there's been a refocus on it, and we're still accepting students. If you want to train to be a student, it's Christmas Day. No better time than ask your parents for some money to sign up to be a pro wrestler. Email AIW@AIWrestling.com. We have we're training 4 days a week now. That's another thing that we did. We split it up and added days. So Mondays and Wednesdays are for beginners and very basic things, and Tuesdays and Thursdays are for the more advanced guys that are doing matches and going out and traveling. That's another thing too is with Dom, he's kind of like an alpha, as we've discovered, and he just takes charge of things because of his years of jiu-jitsu coaching and competition. So the thing that's been great about that is, when he's getting booked, he's also saying, hey, I can bring 5 other guys with me, so these guys have been traveling probably more than, a lot of students at their level should have any right to be, which is really good. Mm-hmm. They're wrestling almost every single weekend in different states, and they're not. The thing that's great is if they were fucking up, I would hear about it, and like AIW would hear about it, but they've been getting a lot of praise. So it's been going very well, and I think the refocusing on the school has really shown not only in AIW and AIW shows, but these shows that they're all traveling around to do. They're going to Tennessee and Indiana and New York and all these different places, and New Jersey, and I think it's all been very positive feedback for the most part for all of them. So I think that the refocus on the school has definitely shown.
Dr. Dan, not only are you a man that holds seminars, but you went to seminars.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite moments from those this year?
I would say
you did them all, I think, right?
I did all but D. Malenko, just because I had a real life situation I was stuck in and couldn't make it there. But the Arn was fantastic, just picking his brain. One of the things he kept saying was, you know what? He goes, I don't pretend to know everything, but I could sit there with John Cena and put together his stuff with him. So I think I might know a thing or two. So it was a pretty cool, humbling experience to see.
My favorite thing about the Arn Anderson seminar, which I know I said this on the Absolution episode, was when he got there, he said, for those of you that don't know, my name is Arn Anderson. Like,
it was awesome.
Like as if everybody that had signed up for this random clinic, for this guy they didn't know. But like, it just shows, you know what I mean? Like, don't carry yourself, that's how this guy's going to carry himself. All of you should always carry yourself like that too, which I thought was a very beneficial lesson.
Every seminar had a different, like, quote unquote theme to it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes, Arn's was very much, how putting stuff together worked. Ethan Page's was how to basically just be a good person and also put together a match and stuff like that. And then Jimmy Jacobs' seminar was about nothing that we had covered in any other seminar. So it was really interesting view of how different people looked at it. And then Glacier's was a whole, like, a bunch of stuff from the 90s and early 2000s that either if it was techniques or like how the business was then, and it really kind of brought you a really good perspective of how everything flows together. And we got in 1 year, we got a pretty good curriculum with Candace and Johnny coming back as well, sporadically helping us and giving us different drills and stuff to work on. And it's been a good year. I'm really proud of all the students. We've had tried to take some of the load off Thorne with putting together the shows, and it goes, they've really stepped up, and myself, Dom, Derek, and Brian are all real proud of them, how they've been doing.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing is, like, if they weren't good or ready, you wouldn't be seeing them on so many shows.
Yeah,
especially AIW shows.
The shows have really become more of a
and there are
showcasing them.
There are shows that are put together just for them.
Right.
Like the Music Link shows or the Wrestle Rager show is a lot of them, which is that's part of my end of the bargain that I have to hold up. Like if they're going to train, I have to give them a stage to perform on every now and then.
Right.
I'm not just going to take their money and, that's it. Are those shows going to be up to par with a Mount Carmel show? No, not at all. But, you could see these guys develop from day one. And I think for the AIW fans, faithful fans, I think they really do enjoy being along for the entire ride.
Yeah.
Of, seeing them develop from day one. But, again, you know what I mean? Those shows also don't necessarily do as well or bring in as much money, but that's my end of the bargain. I have to give these guys, they have to get their reps in somehow. That's part of the perk of training at the AIW school. Why would you go train at a school where you can't wrestle? You know what I mean? You
learn
can't
moves or wrestle, or you wrestle another student 90 times.
You're not gonna learn that way. And a lot of these, another thing is like the majority of these students have all gotten in there at some point with experienced veteran guys for the most part, because that's how you learn.
No, very true.
My first years, I had opportunities that people that have wrestled for 10 years have dreamt of, and I owe it pretty much to John and everything he's given myself and all the other students, because it's given me opportunities other places as well, not just in Cleveland.
Yeah. Although, don't downplay that Wrestle Rager 2 show.
No.
Because that was... we talk about a year in review. That might have been monumental in 2017.
Who would have thought, man? Worldwide, fucking
one of the best ideas of 2017.
I don't know if it was the best idea, but it was definitely
one of his best ideas.
It was definitely a much needed fun. You know what I mean? Like fun day for everybody. We're coming. We're basically coming off of Chandler's funeral.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a few weeks prior, so, and then we go into absolution. So it's like, oh my God, stress now, the biggest show of the year, stress, trying to just compute all that. And then it's like Wrestle Rager, which is just basically a giant house party,
with a wrestling ring,
which, I think that was needed I think everybody needed that day.
Yeah.
And, I don't think that show works with any other fan base in the world but the AIW fan base.
No, I think it was a great regenerator for all of us. Like you said, just to let loose and, kind of blow off steam. And then, it reinvigorated us for the rest of the year, really.
It was just good fun that everyone had, from the people that helped put the ring up and hung out all day, to the fans, to us in the back. We got to have fun and relax.
And imagine being one of those students that hasn't debuted yet, that's like minding your P's and Q's and this is then you're like, man, this is what I just signed up for. This is fun.
Right.
So I think that created a lot of camaraderie amongst the newer students as well, to be like, this is what kind of the stuff you have to look forward to for all the hard work. You know what I mean? That was that was a reward for everybody. I think everybody needed that day, not only worldwide, but everybody in the whole, that was there, needed a day like that. And it turned out to be a lot of fun.
It turned out the guy in the window also needed that day too.
Yeah, I think everybody in the neighborhood needed.
Did we ever get confirmation that was a lo mein, or was that some type of rice dish?
No confirmation on it.
Worldwide said that guy up and went to Australia, so who knows?
He's gone.
Oh, so we won't see him next year.
Yeah, man, you never know.
6 months to a year, he said. He said you can get work. Okay. You can get work visas in Australia for real cheap if you're under 30.
The guy may need to be
bounced.
Recast it next year. Dumpster Kids, yeah, it was great. And Dukes of Narc, wow, that whole day. We could just sit here and recap it again, but whatever.
Go back and listen to that episode.
Yeah, go back and listen to the Wrestle Rager episode for everything and anything. The year of 2016, we ended kind of in with some drama, as we talk about backstage things from that standpoint, and that led into 2017 a little bit as well. And somehow a lot of goodness came out of that, and 2017 started to become the year of the captain with Lewis Linden. I don't know that anybody, at least the first half of 2017, had a bigger year in AIW than Lewis Linden.
Nobody deserves it more. Lewis Linden is the most underrated talent in American independent wrestling.
Yeah.
That's really all that needs to be said about that. That guy should be wrestling everywhere, every weekend. He shouldn't even have a real job. He should just be a wrestler. But For whatever reason, I don't know, that's not the case. But if you're a promoter and you're not booking Lewis Linden and you listen to this podcast for, all sorts of promoters tell me they listen to this podcast for, advice or whatever it is. Like, here's my advice:
book Lewis Linden.
Book Lewis Linden.
Yeah, he's the captain of our ship. Be the captain of yours. I mean, without Lewis Linden, we don't have Paul Burchill to kick off our 2017 with shows.
Yeah, hard to believe that's almost been a year already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that just shows you how fast time flies, and poor Paul Burchill, like, he had such an amazing performance, and then Chandler Biggins gets sick, and that Paul Burchill performance just gets lost in the shuffle of everything else that happened.
Yeah. So go back and watch Walk the Plank, available on Smart Mark Video. As I was bringing Paul Burchill, we had some. It was like obscure people, I guess, in 2017 was kind of a theme too. We had him, Glacier came back to wrestling, and then we also introduced people to Tom Lawler.
Filthy Tom. Handsome
Tom Lawler. And so as I talk about Lewis Linden having a big 2017 for us, coincidentally, these two square off December 29th.
Yeah, I think the second part of 2017 was all about Tom
Lawler. Yeah, and I mean, you've talked about on this podcast before. It's very rare that you meet somebody and you're just like, man, these guy's already one of the boys. And with Tom Lawler, of course, alcohol involved too.
Instantaneously became one
of the boys. There's John Thorne. Here's all the dates.
Yeah, I just gave him all the dates like when I was drunk, at the Jalen after party, just because he was having so much fun, and he just adapted so quickly to like everything that we're about, and he just fits in so well. Like, you're not gonna find a guy that's not I am a hard person to fucking get along with. And then you fucking throw the cast of characters that surrounds me in there, like a worldwide, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like even like a Nick Sanko or the Duke, or like there's a lot of just like diversity and weirdness that surrounds AIW, and Tom Lawler just head first right in the deep end of the pool with it all, and I don't think anybody has adapted so quickly to AIW culture as a whole.
Yeah, I would agree. And guy comes out in S&M gear.
Yeah, that's a big
throwing bones at.
He told me he was feeling horny that day.
That's what he said. Another highlight of the year was that, I guess. So this all leads us towards the end of 2017, where we are, and heading into 2018. I guess what's the next move for AIW? We're going to grow. How big do you want to grow? I believe we can tell people that we're going to debut in a new market, correct?
Yeah. I don't necessarily know how big I want to grow. I don't know that I want to grow a lot bigger, because it's barely manageable right now as it is. And I never think that AIW is going to reach the point to where like I can live off of it, without fear at least. But I do want to try to debut in a couple new markets and do a couple shows in different places, maybe. Like we were saying with the advancement of the students and the school, and we're getting people in from these new areas, and we have a lot of people, a lot of students that are that are from different parts of the the state, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we will, just like Wrestle Rager was a worldwide show. I'm gonna try to do shows where these guys, where some of these guys are from, and debut in markets with their help. And like I was saying, we're trying to set AIW kind of up, like a kind of like a corporation, so to speak. And like I got different guys on the ground doing different things, trying to make different deals happen. So we will be debuting in Akron, Ohio for the first time ever on March 10th at the Tadmore Shrine with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Wow. Dan?
Big news.
Big news, huh? You pumped about that?
Yeah, I'm real excited about that, especially...
Steve Guy was speechless at that.
He was a bit taken aback by that.
I love Ricky Steamboat growing up, man.
Ricky's going to be pretty cool to have at a show just with all the knowledge and everything he's got up at his
So he will be, and
the Dragon.
That's going to be the first show in Akron, and then if it goes well, we're going to do more. It's kind of like a let's see what happens, sort of thing. And
Tadmore Shrine isn't a small place.
It is a big place, so there's big expectations.
Yeah. So for those of you that live down more that way, Canton, Akron, and Cleveland's just too far for you to go. Maybe you've watched us on DVD or you've heard about us. We're going to be bringing a solid show to you.
Yeah, right, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
I guess we can almost wind it down on that announcement.
We could, yeah.
Year in review.
The year in review, and we leave, 2017
this
for the most
Friday.
part with, this Friday, December 29th.
Come meet Sid Vicious.
Come meet Sid Vicious at Rulers of the World.
Psycho Sid. And Thursday,
Rulers of the World?
Thursday, you got a big
Thursday.
event.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Thursday. Yeah. Come on out.
I'll let you plug
thanks.
your own event.
Speaking of Akron, come on out to the Funny Stop. It's actually in Cuyahoga Falls. It's not so much my event. I'll be there. I'll be doing
You facilitated it.
I'll be doing stand up before. It's an evening with Swoggle. So he'll be storytelling from his days in WWE and probably some stuff on the road. And then we'll end the show with a Q&A with him. So come on out to that. Tickets are just $10, so that's pretty cheap. Have a fun AIW weekend, really. Thursday and Friday. So this Thursday, December 28th.
I'll be there. I will be there.
Good.
I'll be there. I'll be there for you
Hey,
guys.
thanks. Good. We'll appreciate the support.
I'll even buy a ticket.
Wow. How about that? So
I don't have a choice.
So everybody else come on out to that. And then, join us also December 29th. And that's it. And don't forget the new face of AIW, Nick Gage.
Fucking right he is.
That in itself explains so much of where AIW was and went in 2017.
We'll be back on New Year's Day for more of this.
Absolutely. So we'll let you enjoy the rest of your Christmas dinner and your family. Enjoy the holidays, and we'll talk to you guys next week. For John Thorne and Dr. Dan, my name's Steve Guy.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.